I had just moved into my dream home in a quiet suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. It was the kind of neighborhood where American flags waved in the breeze, mailboxes matched, and lawn height seemed to be regulated by divine law. But the real law here? Her name was Karen. Karen wasn't just a neighbor, she was the president of our homeowners association, the self-proclaimed guardian of the community's values. She had a sharp tongue, a permanently disapproving frown, and a clipboard that struck fear into anyone who dared plant the wrong type of shrub. The trouble started the moment I moved in. You know, your trash bins are supposed to be off the street by 7 p.m., she said on my first day, arms crossed, standing in my driveway like she owned the deed to my soul. I smiled politely, nodded, and wheeled the bins in. But I knew right then Karen was going to be a problem. Over the months, it got worse. Anonymous HOA citations for excessive wind chimes, garage door left open too long, and even laughing too loudly past 9 p.m. kept showing up in my mailbox. I never saw her do it, but I knew Karen was behind it all. Then one day, my car got egged. 2 days later, someone slashed one of my tires. But it wasn't until my emergency savings $2,000 I'd been tucking away in an envelope in my office vanished that I knew I had to act. I checked the footage from the security camera I had installed in my living room. I never expected what I saw. Karen. She was in my house, not just in my yard, not yelling from the sidewalk inside. Wearing a hoodie, latex gloves, and that same smug look she wore when she fined me for having a garden gnome. She went straight to my office, opened the drawer, and took the envelope. She didn't ransack anything. It was fast, surgical. She knew exactly where to look. I watched in frozen disbelief. I should have been furious, and I was, but more than anything, I was curious. How did she get in? Why? That night, I didn't call the cops. Not yet. I had a plan. I printed a still from the video her, holding the cash, face fully visible. Then I slipped it into her mailbox with a note. Smile, you're on camera. Return the money by tomorrow or this photo goes to the police and the HOA board. By 7 a.m., she was knocking on my door, sweaty and twitchy. I thought it was HOA funds, she stammered, holding out the envelope. There was a complaint. I must have misread the address. Save it, I said, snatching the envelope. You've got 24 hours to resign from the board and send a letter of apology to the entire neighborhood, or I go public. She blinked. No sarcasm, no snide remark, just fear. The next day, a resignation letter went out to every mailbox in the community. No reason given, just a single line. Due to personal matters, I will be stepping down from my role as HOA president. But the real victory? Last week, a new neighbor moved in next door. As I helped him unload boxes, he asked, "So, anything I should know about living here?" I smiled, stretched out my arms, and breathed in the peaceful suburban air. Not anymore. For a few weeks after Karen's resignation, life was good, peaceful. No passive-aggressive notes taped to my door. No weird scratches on my car. No HOA fines for imaginary offenses. But good things never last in neighborhoods like this. One night, while I was scrolling through Reddit and half watching a crime documentary, my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the security camera. I checked it, expecting a raccoon or delivery guy. What I saw sent a chill down my spine. Someone in a hoodie was standing in my backyard. Again. But it wasn't Karen this time. This figure was taller, broader, shouldered. They moved slowly, like they knew the layout. The camera caught a flash of something shiny in their hand, maybe a crowbar, maybe worse. I froze the frame and zoomed in. Tattoo. Right forearm. A black snake winding through a skull. I didn't recognize the guy, but he knew exactly where to go toward the side gate, the same one Karen used. He even reached under the flower pot and pulled out the spare key I had stupidly forgotten to move. He didn't get inside this time. The alarm went off before he could unlock the back door. The intruder ran, disappearing into the night. The next morning, I filed a police report. But when I showed the footage to the officer, he raised an eyebrow. "That tattoo," he said. "I've seen it before. He's part of a small-time crew. Break-ins, fraud, identity theft. The kind of people who don't act alone." A theory began to form in my head, sharp and ugly. Karen didn't just break into my house. She was working with someone. Or, worse, she was covering for them. I started going through old camera footage, days, weeks, months back, looking for patterns, looking for that tattoo. And then I saw it 2 months before the robbery, A man fitting the same build had visited Karen's house twice, always at night. Once he even parked in her garage. I needed more than footage. I needed proof. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I joined the HOA. The new president was a mild-mannered guy named Mitch. Nice enough, a little clueless. When I volunteered to help digitize records and audit old HOA complaints, he was more than happy to hand over the files. That's when things got really dark. I found dozens of complaints, all from people who had left the neighborhood within the last year. Most were about Karen, and some mentioned break-ins, stolen property, even threats. But nothing ever made it to the board, because Karen was the board. She had buried everything. And worse, I found a scanned letter, unsigned, dated 6 months ago. Just a single sentence? I know what you and your brother are doing. I won't stay quiet forever. Brother? Suddenly, it all clicked. The man with the tattoo wasn't just a hired thug, he was Karen's brother. And now that she was out of power, he was tying up loose ends. Starting with me.